Thank you so much. And with that, I think the first thing we can do is I can I'll show the video offering that a lot of people from Youth Jam have contributed to for His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, whose Vyasa Puja was celebrated last week at ISV. I can pull that up real quick, and it's a really good offering. I don't know if everyone's seen it, but we can watch that and appreciate just how many people are touched by Shishka Maharaj. Okay, looks like it's
What are you guys doing? Scrolling in temple? You can't be doing that.
It's so boring. We want to watch something.
Yeah, I mean, like, what else is there to do? What? There's so many ways in which you can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. Let this video teach you.
Just a sec, let me fix the mouse.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Happy Vyasa Puja.
Maharaj, we're very inspired by your amazing talks on UCHAM and how you spread the message of Hare Krishna.
KTTVG, keep the transcendental vibration going.
ARK, NFK, Haribol.
Hare Krishna Vaisheshika Maharaj, Happy Vyasa Puja. Thank you so much for inspiring me to memorize the Kunti Devi prayers and also understand the meaning better, and also helping me to set goals in Youth Jam and be more productive. Thank you so much for all that you do. Happy Vyasa Puja.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your love, care, and guidance for all the devotees, and also for the exclusive attention that you give to the devotee youth.
Thank you for always motivating us to touch the pavement and to keep doing book distribution, and for also being such a guiding light in our spiritual journey.
Thank you, Gurudev, for your shelter, for leading by example, for your patience, tolerance, and compassion, and for always reminding us what the purpose of our life is.
One upon millions of things that I appreciate about you is that you're kind, loving, encouraging. Thank you for everything you do, Hare Krishna.
I'm incredibly grateful to you, Maharaj, for making me and everybody around you feel so valued and loved, and the way you enrich us all with your contagious Krishna consciousness and your contagious smile. I know this may sound cliche, but thank you for walking this earth.
Thank you for making UCHAM so fun, practical, and enlivening. I look forward to these sessions every week, and because of you, we're able to keep the transcendental vibration going no matter where we are.
You've made Shastra practical and alive for me. It's because of Youth Jam that I've been able to memorize and relish many verses in your guidance and in the company of other youth. It's turned scripture into a source of spiritual strength and joy in my life. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Happy Vyasa Puja.
Thank you very much for your support and affection for all the young devotees everywhere and encouragement in their services, especially for me. Thank you for keeping me under your shelter and giving me lots of different services for my own purification. I hope that you continue to keep me in your shelter so that I can continue to be of service. Your servant, Ranjor Das.
As I've been away at college, I get to see many professors lecture us about the things they're interested in, and it's helped me realize what an exceptional orator you are. Your dedication to and your love for the holy name come through very easily when you speak, and especially in the way you answer questions.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for being so kind and approachable despite your stature.
Thank you for the unwavering amount of guidance you have showered upon us. Thank you for being a constant source of my inspiration. I am eternally grateful for your mercy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Happy Vyasa Puja. Thank you so much for giving your time to all of us at UCHAM and making Krishna consciousness and his philosophy so practical and easy to digest.
Thank you, Maharaj, for everything you have taught me. In book distribution, I learned from you that we should depend on Krishna for everything and serve as an instrument in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You're so kind and encouraging to everyone. Even though you're very busy, you still take your time to lovingly teach kids like me how we can progress on the path of bhakti to please Guru and Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Wish you a very, very happy Vyasa Puja. Thank you so much for the Youth Jam sessions, and I like your kirtans a lot. Please bless me, Maharaj, that I can follow in your footsteps. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for teaching me the importance of hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam by your constant example.
Thank you for encouraging and empowering so many devotees, especially younger generations, to not only take to Krishna consciousness, but to follow Srila Prabhupada's mission and take devotional service very seriously.
Hare Krishna, dear Vaisheshika Maharaj. Wishing you a very, very happy Krishna conscious birthday. Thank you so much for all of the service that you do very enthusiastically and very wonderfully for the entire world. I have no words to describe my gratitude for all of the motivation, the inspiration, and life changing advice that you've given me. I'm so grateful to you, Miraj. I sincerely pray to Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan and Sri Sri Radha Govinda that they keep you in good health and they keep empowering you to inspire the entire world. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So that was a really beautiful video, by the way, and a lot of people who worked on the production of that video are also people who help out with Youth Jam on a regular basis, or those who also attend Youth Jam. So if you're in the video or if you're joining here today, thank you so much for joining. And it's really meaningful that you're part of Youth Jam because Maharaj also appreciated the video a lot because of how much it means to a lot of youth around the country and around the world. So this is really something that's close and dear to Maharaj's heart and also meaningful for a lot of youth. So it's really nice to appreciate that. And we can also move on to our Chad, since we should always do our Chad. I pulled up the slides for, I believe it's chapter 10, part 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. I'll read through the Sanskrit and then we can go back and do the translations as a group. So please recite behind your muted mics. Vedanam samavedosmi, devanam asmi vasavaha, indriyanam manaschasmi, bhutanam asmi chetana, rudranam shankaraschasmi, vittesho yaksharakshasam, vasunam pavakaschasmi, merushikharinamaham. पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं सेनानीनाम् अहं स्कन्धः सरसाम् अस्मि सागरः महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिराम् अस्म्येकमक्षरं यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः उच्चैश्रवसम् अश्वानां विद्धिं माम् अमृतोद्भवाम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं धेनूनाम् अस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्प सर्पाणाम् अस्मि वासुकिः अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं पितॄणाम् अर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम् प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम् पावनः पवनः पवतामस्मि रामः शस्त्रभृतामहं झषाणां मकरश्चास्मि स्रोतसाम् अस्मि जाह्नवी सर्गाणाम् आदिरन्तश्च मध्यं चैवाहमर्जुन अध्यात्मविद्या विद्यानां वादः प्रवदतामहम् अक्षराणाम् अकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वः सामासिकस्य च अहम् एवाक्षयः कालो धाताहं विश्वतो मुखः मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिश्रीर्वाक् च नारीणाम् स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिक्षमा बृहत्साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहम् मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहम् ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः द्यूतं चलयतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्त्वं सत्त्ववतामहम् वृष्णीनां वासुदेवोऽस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जय मुनीनामप्यहं व्यास कवीनाम् उशना कविः दण्डो दमयतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जिगीषताम् मौनं चैवास्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवतामहम् यश्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहमर्जुन न तदस्ति विना यत्स्यान् मया भूतं चराचरम् नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां च परन्तप एष तुद्धेशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगर्षत्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम् अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्याहमिदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. Now we can go back to the translations. And can we get a couple volunteers? Hare Krishna. Okay, Puja Lakshmi and Mayuri. How about you take each 10 verses? You can read the translation. Okay, Parth. All right. I'll start with 5, and then each of you can also do 5 afterward then. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am in the living force, consciousness. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuber. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Puja Lakshmi, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Of horses know me to be how do you pronounce that?
Ujjaishava.
Ujjaysara, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar of lordly elephants. I am Aravata, and among men I am monarch. I'm the monarch. Do I read this one?
Yeah, you can read 4 more.
Okay. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt. Among cows I am the Surabhi. Of causes for procreation I am Gandharva, the god of love, and of serpents I am Vasuki. Of the many hooded Nagas I am Anatana, and among the aquatics I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors I am Ariyama, and among the dispensers of law I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Dayita demons I am the devoted Prahlada. Among Subthas I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am Garuda. Do I read this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges.
Thank you, Puja Lakshmi Mayuri.
Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashirsha, November to December, and of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong.
Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. The sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am wisdom. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. But what need is there, Arjuna, for this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe.
Thank you, everyone who read translations. We can look at a purport since we have some time of one of these verses. Does anyone want to pick a verse between 22 and 42?
41.
41. All right, let me pull that up real quick. All right, this was a pretty small purport, but we can look at both this and the next one, which is the last verse in the chapter. Mayuri, did you want to read the translation and purport for us?
Know that all of opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence.
You can look at the next verse as well, which is the last one.
Should I read three paragraphs?
Let's see. It's only 3 paragraphs long, so if you want to get started, I can finish it off if you want, or you can read the whole thing.
I'll read the first one.
Sure.
The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them.
Puja Lakshmi, go ahead.
Where do I read till?
You can read this paragraph.
Okay. Oh. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead to one supreme personality of Godhead or the supreme goal, but worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of Supreme Lord. He is the organ of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is asamurva, which means that no one is superior to him and no one is equal to him. In Padma Purana, it said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigods, but they even Brahma or Shiva become at once and at east. If however one thoroughly studies with the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without doubt the position of Lord Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all pervading by the expansion of his partial representation, the supersoul who enters into everything that is pure devotees, therefore concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness and in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in his chapter. Srila Baladeva Vidya Bhushana, a great Acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, from Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of opulence of the Absolute.
Very well. Thank you so much, Puja Lakshmi and Mayuri, for reading the purports. We got a nice bonus deal with the bigger purport after the smaller one. This was really nice. Did you learn anything from either of these purports? Puja Lakshmi?
Yes?
Did you learn anything or find anything interesting about either of these purports?
Yeah, it's showing about the worship.
Right. Yeah, it's really important to know where Krishna stands in terms of in relation to, as it says, Brahma or Shiva, and how we actually come to learn that information is through this disciplic succession, which Prabhupada emphasizes at the end of the purport of this paragraph. So yeah, thank you for that. Mayuri.
It's talking about like how there's no one superior to Krishna. Like in the last verse, Krishna is saying that there's no need to like emphasize like how much like how the universe is working because only like a small portion of himself is working to maintain it. So that's why this verse is like explaining how Krishna is worshipable and that there's no one greater to him.
Right. If you have access to understand something in its whole, why would you spend so much time studying just a small part of it, right? Yeah, because we see Krishna as he says in this translation, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Some scientists spend their entire lives studying a little fraction of that small universe, one of the many infinite universes that come from Krishna. So they don't want to take up the opportunity to study Krishna, who's the source of not just this one universe, but everything in the universe and every single other universe. So it's really interesting when you put that into perspective and see where we're focusing our time and energy on. So it's really good study of the 10th chapter, if I say so myself. And now we have some more time to go into a little bit of reading of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, which I'll pull up in just a second. And this is always good because we understand the story of Srila Prabhupada who brought all these literatures to us, to the entire world, for our daily access and studying, so we understand Krishna consciousness to the detail that we're supposed to. If I'm not mistaken, we are on chapter 11. Okay. I can get us started, and if we have any volunteers, they can read 3 paragraphs. Chapter 11, The Dream Come True. I planned that I must go to America. Generally, they go to London, but I did not want to go to London. I was simply thinking of how to go to New York. I was skimming whether I shall go this way through Tokyo, Japan, or that way, which way is cheaper. That was my proposal, and I was targeting to New York always. Sometimes I was dreaming that I have to come to New York. Srila Prabhupada. Writing was only half the battle, and the other half was publishing. Both Bhaktivedanta Swami and his spiritual master wanted to see Srimad Bhagavatam printed in English and distributed widely. According to the teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the most modern methods of printing and distributing books should be used to spread Krishna consciousness. Although many books of Vaishnava wisdom have already been perfectly presented by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Jiva Goswami, the manuscripts now sat deteriorating in the Radha Damodar temple and other locations, and even the Gaudiya Mutt's printings of the Goswami's works were not being widely distributed. One of Bhaktivedanta Swami's godbrothers asked him why he was spending so much time and effort trying to make a new commentary on the Bhagavatam, since so many great acharyas had already commented upon it. But in Bhaktivedanta Swami's mind, there was no question. His spiritual master had given him order. Commercial publishers, however, were not interested in the 60-volume Bhagavatam series, and Bhaktivedanta Swami was not interested in anything less than a 60-volume Parampara presentation of verses, synonyms, and purports based on the commentaries of the previous acharyas. But to publish such books, he would have to raise private donations and publish at his own expense. Radha Damodar may have been the best place for writing Srimad Bhagavatam, but not for printing and publishing it. For that, he would have to go to New Delhi. Among his Delhi contacts, Bhaktivedanta Swami considered Hitsaran Sharma a likely helper. Although when he had stayed in Mr. Sharma's home, Mr. Sharma had appreciated him more as a member of the genre than as an individual. At least Mr. Sharma was inclined to help sadhus, and he recognized Bhaktivedanta Swami as a genuinely religious person. Therefore, when Bhaktivedanta Swami approached him in his office, he was willing to help, considering it a religious duty to propagate Srimad Bhagavatam. Hitsaran Sharma was qualified to help for two reasons. He was the secretary to J.D. Dalmia, a wealthy philanthropist, and he was the owner of commercial printing works, Radha Press. According to Mr. Sharma, Mr. Dalmia would not directly give money to Bhaktivedanta Swami, even if his secretary suggested it. Mr. Sharma therefore advised Bhaktivedanta Swami to go to Gorakhpur and show his manuscript to Hanuman Prasad Poddar, a religious publisher. Accepting this as good advice, Bhaktivedanta Swami journeyed to Gorakhpur, some 75 miles from Delhi. Keshav, go ahead.
3 paragraphs, right?
From here.
Even such a trip as this constituted a financial strain. Bhaktivedanta Swami's daily ledger showed a balance of 130 rupees at August 8, 1962, the day he started for Gorakhpur. By the time he reached Lucknow, he was down to 57 rupees. Travel from Lucknow to Gorakhpur cost another 6 rupees, and the rickshaw to Mr. Podar's home cost 80 paisa. But the trip was well worth the cost. Bhaktivedanta Swami presented Mr. Podar with his letter of introduction from Hitsaran Sharma and then showed him his manuscript. After briefly examining the manuscript, Mr. Podar concluded it to be a highly developed work that should be supported. He agreed to send a donation of 4,000 rupees to the Dalmia Trust in Delhi to be used towards the publication Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srimad Bhagavatam. Indian printers do not always require full payment before they begin a job, provided they receive a substantial advance payment. After the job is printed and bound, a customer who has not made the complete payment takes a portion of books commensurate to what he has paid, and after selling those books, he uses his profit to buy more. Bhaktivedanta Swami estimated that printing one volume would cost 7,000 rupees, so he was 3,000 short. He raised a few hundred rupees more by going door to door throughout Delhi. Then he went back to Radha Press and asked Hitsaran Sharma to begin. Mr. Sharma agreed.
Thank you, Keshav. Parvati?
Radha Press had already produced much of the first two chapters when Bhakti Vedanta Swami objected that the type was not large enough. He wanted 12-point type, but the Radha Press had only 10-point. So Mr. Sharma agreed to take the work to another printer, Mr. Gaudam Sharma of OK Press. In printing Bhakti Vedanta Swami's Volume 1 of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, OK Press printed 4 book pages, twice on a side of one sheet of paper, 20 by 26 inches. But before running the full 1,100 copies, they would print a proof which Bhaktivedanta Swami would read. Then, following the corrected proofs, the printers would correct the handset type and run a second proof, which Bhaktivedanta would also read. Usually he would also find errors on the second proof. If so, they would print the third. If he found no errors on the third proof, then he would then print the final pages. At this pace, Bhaktivedanta Swami was able to order small quantities of paper as he could afford it, from 6 to 10 reams at a time, ordered 2 weeks in advance. Even as the volume was being printed, he was still writing the last chapters. When the proofs were ready at OK Press, he would pick up the proofs, return to his room at Chippiwada, correct the proofs, and then return them. Sometimes 14-year-old Kanvedi, who lived at the Chippiwada temple with his parents, would carry the proofs back and forth for the Swami. But in the last months of 1962, Bhaktivedanta Swami usually made a daily walk to OK Press. Thank you.
Myri?
His walk through the tight, crowded lanes of Chippiwada soon led him to a road close to the Jama Mosque, and that road led into the noisy, heavily trafficked Chowri Bazaar. The neighborhood was a busy paper district where laborers with ropes strapped across their shoulders pulled stout wooden carts, heavily loaded with stacks of paper on small iron wheels. For 2 blocks, their paper dealers were the only businesses. Hariram Gupta and Company, Rup Chand and Sons, Bengal Paper Mill Company Limited, Universal Traders, Janta Paper Mart, one after another, even down the side alleys. The neighborhood storefronts were colorful and disorderly. Pedestrian traffic was so hectic that for a person to dally, even for a moment, would cause disruption. Carts and rickshaws carried paper and other goods back and forth through the streets. Sometimes a laborer would jog past with a hefty stack of pages on his hand, the stack weighing down on the either end. Traffic was swift, and an unmindful or slow-footed pedestrian risked being struck by a load protruding from the head of a bearer or from a passing cart. Occasionally, a man would be squatting on the roadside, smashing chunks of coal into small pieces to sell. Tiny quarter smoke shops drew small gatherings of customers for cigarettes or pawn. The shopkeeper would rapidly spread the pawn spices on a betel leaf, and the customer would walk off down the street chewing the pawn and spitting out red-stained saliva. Amidst this milieu, as the Chowri Bazaar commercial district blended into tenement life and children played in the hazardous streets, Bhaktivedanta Swami was a gentle-looking yet determined figure. As he walked past the tenements, the tile sellers, the grain sellers, the sweet shops, and the printers, overhead would be electric wires, pigeons, and the clotheslines from the tenement balconies. Finally, he would come to OK Press, directly across from a small mosque. He would come, carrying the corrected proofs, to anxiously oversee the printing work. After 4 months, when the whole book had been printed and the sheets were stacked on the floor of the press, Mr. Hitsaran Sharma arranged for the work to be moved to a bindery. The binding was done by an ancient operation, mostly by hand, and it took another month. Bhaktivedanta Swami would come and observe the workers. A row of men sat in a small room, surrounded by stacks of printed paper. The first man would take one of the large printed sheets, rapidly fold it twice, and pass it to the next man, who performed the next operation. The pages would be folded, stitched, and collated, then put into a vise and hammered together before being trimmed on 3 sides with a hand saw and glued. Bit by bit, the book would be prepared for the final hardcover.
Puja.
In addition to his visits to OK Press and the bindery, Bhaktivedanta Swami would also occasionally travel by bus across the Yamuna River to Mr. Hitsaran Sharma's Radha Press. The Radha Press was printing 1,000 dust jackets for the volume. Hitsaran Sharma Swami was going hither and thither. He was getting whatever collections he could and depositing them, and he was always mixing with many persons, going hither and thither. With me, he was very fond and that I should do everything as soon as possible. He had a great haste. He used to say, time is going, quick, do it." He would be annoyed with me also, and he would have me do his work first. But I was in the service of Delmia, and I would tell him, "Your work has to be secondary for me." But he would say, "Now you have wasted my 2 days. What is this, Sharmaji? I am coming here. I told you in the morning to do this, and you have not even done it now. Even now." But I would reply, "I got no time during the day." Then he would say, then you would waste my complete day. So he was very much pressing me. This was his temperament. The binding was reddish, the color of an earthen brick, and was inlaid with gold lettering. Bhaktivedanta Swami had designed the dust jacket himself, and he had commissioned a young Bengali artist named Salit to execute it. It was a wraparound picture of an entire spiritual of the material manifestations. Dominating the front cover was a pink lotus, and within its whirl were Radha and Krishna and their pastimes in Vrindavana along the Lord Chaitanya chanting and dancing with his associates from Krishna's lotus planet emanated yellow rays of light. In that effulgence were many spiritual planets, appearing like so many suns. Sitting within each planet was a different four-armed form of Narayana, each with his name lettered beneath the planet. Trivikrama, Keshava, Purushottama, and so on. Within an oval at the bottom of the front cover, Mahavishnu was exhaling the material universes. On the inside cover was Bhaktivedanta's Swami explanation of the color illustration.
Kirtaniya Gaura.
When the printing and binding were completed, there were 1,100 copies. Bhaktivedanta Swami would receive 100 copies, and the printer would keep the balance. And from the sale of the 100 copies, Bhaktivedanta Swami would continue to pay off his debt to the printer and binder. Then he would receive another supply of books. This would continue until he had finished paying his debt. His plan was to then publish a second volume from the profits of the first, and a third from the profits of the second. Devi Kantvedi went to pick up the first 100 copies. He hired a man who put the books in large baskets, placed them on his hand truck, and then hauled them through the cities to the Chippuwada temple, where Bhaktivedanta Swami stacked them in his room on a bench. Bhaktivedanta Swami went alone to sell his books and present them to important people. Dr. Radhakrishnan, who gave him a personal audience, agreed to read the book and write his opinion. Hanuman Prasad Podar was the first to write a favorable review. It is a source of great pleasure for me that a long-cherished dream has materialized and is going to be materialized with this and would-be publications. I thank the Lord that due to His grace, this publication could see the light. Bhaktivedanta Swami went to the major libraries, universities, and schools in Delhi, where the librarians found him calm and quiet, noble, polite, scholarly, with a specific glow in him. Traveling on foot, he visited school administration offices throughout Delhi and placed copies in more than 40 schools in the Delhi area. The Minister of Education, which had previously denied him assistance, placed an order for 50 copies for selected universities and institutional libraries throughout India. The ministry paid him 600 rupees plus packing and postage charges, and Bhaktivedanta Swami mailed the books to the designated libraries. The U.S. Embassy purchased 18 copies to be distributed in America through the Library of Congress.
Thank you so much, Kirtaniya Gaura, and everyone else who read today. That was a wonderful reading. And a little bit more insight into Prabhupada getting ready for his journey to America, which was really brilliant and infinitely meaningful for devotees like us who are, I think, all of us are in America, and we wouldn't have come in touch with Krishna consciousness otherwise. So always good to read that. Since we only have a little bit more time, I want to hear from everyone. How's everything going? How's your week or month or anything? Kirtan Gaur, how about you?
I'm doing good. I started school again, so yeah.
Manhar, how about you?
I'm doing fine with school now, but yeah.
Ryan? Seeing one face pop up one by one.
Same as Monha. It's good. It's going. We still have 9 more months, so it's gonna
Of
be
school?
very interesting.
9 more months of school?
Yeah.
You just got started, right?
Yeah, September 2nd.
Okay. Does anyone know what's coming up next week?
Is it Dashera?
That's true. That's right. That's one of the festivals that we're going to be seeing in a few more days. But also in a week, what was that?
I had a guess, but I don't think it's right.
Oh, go ahead.
Karthik starts?
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be starting, I think, next Saturday, October 7th for us in America. So that's exciting, by the way, because we have so many more opportunities to hear about, of course, Krishna's pastimes, especially the Damodar Leela, but also it's an opportunity to engage in a lot more association, service, hearing, and chanting. And I think Marge is getting started on his Kartik Yatra right about now in Vrindavan, which is why he's not here with us on Youth Jam today. But we're going to be hearing a lot more of Damodar Leela, a lot more of these kirtans, and it's going to be a festive atmosphere. And for that, we want to also do some special activities, maybe in Youth Jam in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned if you want to keep the transcendental vibration going, because I think it's going to be going really, really well next couple weeks. Thank you everyone for joining. It's already 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. for those in the Central, 7 p.m. in Eastern. We're going to be rejoining here next week at 3 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry. So thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you back next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.